Hello, I'm Toycat, and Minecraft has just started 1.21.30 previews and betas, which means we can finally see their plans, and wow, there's a lot. Adding rarity to items alone would be huge, as would changing the banner icons, as they have, but they did both of these things alongside almost 100 others, including a change to the trial chamber, we have new rooms, and finally a solution to the chest problem. There are 3 major sections of this preview, and we're going to go into each of these as fast as we can to see what Mojang is cooking today, and so let's start with the first, which is going to be a couple of fun fixes to things like the Bad Omen bottle. So Bad Omen effects will now reset by drinking an ominous bottle. So when you drink Bad Omen 5, you'll get the Bad Omen effect for 100 minutes, as you can see, and that timer will keep counting down, and previously you'd have to wait till it ran out to reset it with another one, but now if you look at 99 minutes and 50 seconds and say that's a tragedy, then what you can do is you can drink an ominous bottle, and that will reset right back up to 99 minutes and 99 seconds, as I'm sure we all want to do, just like how I'm sure banners rendering in front of non-transparent blocks, indeed in front of transparent blocks, is a very, very bad thing, and they fixed it so that now if there's a banner behind glass, you'll see it behind the glass. This sounds so obvious, but it's been broken for such a long time. I'm glad they fixed a couple of long-term issues, but they've also fixed a long-term issue that's a bit more fundamental, and it's a really, really good one. So these are banner patterns, and previously they were all just called banner pattern, but now it will be called the creeper charge banner pattern, and for example, this one is going to be called the fielded mason banner pattern, and you'll be able to tell immediately which one it is, not just with the name, which is much better, but also because the icon has improved vastly. All of these are brand new textures that mean that I can immediately tell that this is the snout banner pattern without having to read it on my screen, and I think that is something that is so handy. You could make a good argument for accessibility, but I also just think consistency in Minecraft is important. If you're going to have banner patterns, they should at least have some consistent design that makes them obvious and unique from one another. So here are the 10 altogether. Fun fact, they've done something sort of similar with rare items, and you can see this particularly strong with smithing templates. So smithing templates have been renamed with the exact same logic in mind. Instead of just saying smithing template, which I always thought was the worst idea ever, it now says wild armor trim, or if we have the netherite upgrade, it says netherite upgrade, which I think is really great. This is something which you might also notice comes with a weird yellow color. Why was that yellow there, huh? And then this one is also yellow, but this one is blue. What's the deal there? Well, Minecraft has also added rarity. Rarity has officially come to Minecraft, and this is one something which honestly might sound very confusing even for the Java players who watch this, who deal with rarity all of the time. So rarity is something which takes place on 4 separate levels. There is common, uncommon, rare, and then obviously epic. There is no legendary, so the idea of having gold items is something that makes sense, but instead it's just in the rarest category there. So what should be legendary is rare, and this includes just a few items, and then there are items which are in the rare category, like the enchanted golden apple is one they specifically call out by name, and this is what you'll find with the spire armor trim. It is very rare and very hard to find relative to, say, finding this one right here. The razor armor trim is nowhere near as rare as ward or as silence. Silence is obviously kind of one of the craziest ones. Where is silence actually? It's right in here, right? Silence is one of the craziest ones, which is why it's one of the 3 items put into that super epic category. So yeah, there are now just a few items in Minecraft which are considered ultra rare, and a lot of other items have a different color to let you know how rare it is without having to know that, oh yeah, you find these all of the time, but you don't find this anywhere near as often, and you find this once in every, dozen, ancient cities, so you should feel really great when you do find it. This is a fun change, and that is the way that they've made rarity change, and they've mentioned that all of the item and block changes that have had their rarity changes that don't match Java will be changing on Java to match Bedrock, that is just to say they implemented these changes first on Bedrock because there's currently no snapshot process on Java. So next up, we have a bunch of fun miniature bug fixes and fun things like that to go through, including a live from Mojang, by the way. Did you know they mentioned something on the changelog, which isn't true? But in the meantime, let's go for a trial chamber interlude. So they replaced all of the empty chests that spawn in the trial chambers with a hopper and a barrel to better show, therefore, disposal and inventory management. If you have a goat horn you really like, I like this one. as horrifying as it is, you can throw it into these and it will be stored in the barrel for later. What I love about this hopper and barrel solution is it's not just a barrel that I can store half my pork chops in, or my spyglass, because who needs that? You know, you can store the excess items in there, but also you can drop them straight in. I actually think this is an ingenious solution, and good job, Mojang. It will take a good month and a half or 2 months before we actually see this in the base game, but they are improving the trial chambers. One of the other improvements they've made is that beds in intersections will now have their colors randomized. Is that something anyone wanted? I like that they were red and green personally, but they're now fully random, and also there are new variations of trial chamber structures that include encounters. Encounters are a short challenge that lead to a larger chamber, but after searching through this entire trial chamber, and then a second entire trial chamber, and then a third entire trial chamber, I couldn't find a single one. So if they exist in the current preview, they are currently quite rare. It could be that they exist in the game, but they're not used in the actual world generation. I haven't been able to prove it yet, but I'd love to show some to you as soon as we do. But this is something coming to 1.20, 1.30, maybe just not in the current preview in a way that I can find yet. So let's get back to the main update. We've got very little time to go. I want to make sure that you get everything in this update as fast as we can. So did you know the Illager banner has been renamed to the Ominous banner? That's what the changelog says, but reality, as I'll show you right now, says that when you pick up one of these, first of all, it's a rare item. It's yellow. Did I explain that properly, by the way? That yellow is uncommon, and then blue is rare, and yeah, I think I did. But yeah, this is a, so it's an uncommon item, which is, I guess, the lowest level of rarity, but not quite rare. It's an uncommon item, but it's called the Illager banner instead of the Ominous banner. I think it's funny. I think this is a mistake. They thought they changed it, but they didn't, so it's on the changelog, but not in the update. It's like a secret feature, but a secret unfeature. Is that a thing? Speaking of things, entities falling in water now make the same sound as in Java. I'll be honest, it's raining right here, so all I can hear is that. But IBX Toy Fox is definitely making a Java sound right now, and also snow golems with fire resistance will not have damage in warm biomes, which is intended and hasn't been happening before. I think this is a pretty cool feature personally, and now it means I can bring my snow golem to the Nether to help me take down some blazes. I've been working on a plan to beat Minecraft with as few achievements as possible, and genuinely, it's one of those fun ideas I'd love to play around with, just like how I'd love to play around with the idea of making iron and snow golems with an uncarved pumpkin, something you can do right now but can't do anymore. So yeah, if you want to, after 1.20, 1.30, you'll have to shear it, but the act of shearing it will immediately create a golem, or I guess a golem of either form, which I think is really, really fun. Woo, there we go. And that, we did it in just 7 minutes. This was a very big changelog, the biggest one for an update after 1.21, but I'm glad that we got through it so quickly so that I can talk about, one, what I think about it. I like the rarity system from Java. I do think it's a fairly handy one, and it's cool to see them implementing it. I would love to see slightly different categories, and part of me says, why have the highest category be epic? Why is it that purple is as high as it goes? But then I think, oh, maybe one day, you know, this is them leaving space to add a legendary item, rather than, you know, saying there's a legendary now and they have to later add an ultra legendary. I love the idea of rarity, but I'd love to see a category above this. Although, to be fair, how many players have elytras? How many players have the Silence Trim? That's something debatable. The only thing I would like to say is if we made the big changes to banner patterns to make them readable from one another, we made the changes to the way that smithing templates work, so they just say the trim to distinguish them from one another, maybe now's the time, you know, just saying, thinking out loud here, maybe now's the time to look at enchanted books, which obviously haven't been fixed in the same way. An enchanted book looks like this, whether it's Bane of Arthropods 1, or whether it's Windburst 3, and that is something that I think could be fixed easily, or at least could be fixed in a very fun way. If Mojang wants to improve their readability and accessibility, that is one that I would take aim at fairly quickly. With that said though, this has been the 1.20, 1.30 preview and beta. I hope that you enjoy the little guides to each of the updates on this channel, and yeah, for the next year of 1.21 previews, I want to make sure that we go as concise and as useful as we can, and so thank you to Ash, Harrison, Tree, and Swift for helping put together this one, and also just keep in mind that 1.21.20 is finished, and so we'll be releasing soon. We'd expect in the next couple of weeks or so, but early to mid-August is when we can expect the first bug fix update with a lot of the things you might be looking forward to for 1.21. Speaking of 1.21, I hope you've all enjoyed this one, and consider getting a long boy. There are just under 24 hours left. Seriously, if you want a long boy, now is your time. I will be buying the rest at some point tomorrow, so just keep that in mind. Yeah, that that if you want a long boy, you have 24 hours to get yourself the second edition. Otherwise, never again. I think he's lovely. I think he's worth buying. But I also think that I hope you enjoyed this video, because I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye. Remember to buy house fire insurance. and domestic terror. Yeah. As well as self-terror insurance. You never know when it's going to come up. Goodbye.